Chapter 18 of Nicholas, a Manhattan Christmas Story by Carroll Moore. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Nicholas sails. On the Saturday before Easter, Anne Carraway's Christmas dream came true, and she sailed for France with Nicholas on the steamer La Savoie. Down the pier of the French line came a gay procession of friends to see them off. At the head of the procession marched Julia, a short girl with snapping black eyes and jet-black hair. She carried 2 flags and an enormous bundle of letters tied up with orange ribbon, and she walked like a drum major. Next came Frances, a tall girl with gray-blue eyes and brown hair, who carried a lovely French basket hung all around with little gold bells that went tinkle, tinkle, tinkle at every waving step she took. Close behind came Marian, another tall girl with large brown eyes and nut-brown hair. She carried pink roses and a traveling bag, and looked as if she expected to sail too. Then came Jacqueline, with silver pencils and notebooks, looking as if she had stepped out of a very gay picture book. She was wearing a bright green scarf to wave. After her came Marcia, with a deep red rose, a basket of Easter bunnies, and a little gold book. Then, like a fairy, Margaret came dancing along, a little girl with short fluffy hair, who wore a lovely scarlet dress under her spring coat, and carried a gay tin box of chocolates for Nicholas. They were all laughing and chattering as they came, and behind them were dozens of others, who swarmed over the decks of the ship and into Nicholas's cabin, and filled it so full of flowers and parcels, and baskets of fruit, and tin boxes of sweets, and wooden boxes of sun-dried figs from California, that Louis, the French steward, whispered to Fanchon, the little stewardess, who looked exactly like a French doll with blonde hair,
Elle est une grande dame très célèbre, n'est-ce pas?
And Nicholas chuckled to himself as he listened to them, and kept out of their sight until after the ship sailed. 2 other ships sailed from Chelsea docks that morning at the same time, and the friends of all the people sailing crowded the piers and set up a great shout when the last whistles blew and the 3 great ocean liners pulled out with their pilots, with all their little tugs screeching alongside them. And from the top deck of all, Nicholas and Anne Carraway looked down into that great sea of faces, and one after another the faces of friends appeared and flashed signals to them as they waved flags, handkerchiefs, hats, scarves, umbrellas, and empty baskets. Down North River swung the 3 ships, past the Statue of Liberty and Staten Island, from whose heights more friends were waving. And then Anne Carraway rushed downstairs to the ship's library to write letters to send off by the pilot. Nicholas couldn't be bothered with letters. He wrote only one very short one with a blue pencil as he stood on deck waiting to see the pilot off.
Dear Joe Starr, we've sailed. Belmonte, the great toreador of Spain, is on board on his way home from Mexico. No bulls with him, just his wife and baby girl, with gold rings in her 2 little ears. She's a dear. The pilot's leaving us. Tell John Moon I'll write from France. Au revoir, J.S. Nicholas, Whistleboy. Come up on deck and see all the porpoises, Anne Carraway,
called Nicholas on Easter Sunday morning. Out from her cabin rushed Anne Carraway, just in time to see a big school of porpoises go tumbling by. They were having a glorious frolic, leaping far out of the water one second, diving deep down out of sight the next.
"Let's go for a walk on the top deck,"
proposed Anne Carraway when they had seen the last of the porpoises.
Wait a minute,
said Nicholas.
I'll get my spyglasses.
And away he clattered over the deck to his cabin. He was back in no time with a spyglass in one hand and a pocket compass in the other.
I'm going way out in the bow and look for that old clipper ship, Rainbow, Joe Starr talks about,
he said.
This is just the kind of a day for clipper ships to be sailing. Sunny and blue and windy. Come along, Anne Carraway.
Far out in the bow stood Nicholas, looking for clipper ships, while La Savoie sailed on and on over the blue ocean, leaving a long trail of white foam in her track. They had luncheon on deck, and when Louis brought out a basket of fruit with a great bunch of dark purple grapes on top, Nicholas held them up for the sun to shine through while they ate them very slowly, one by one.
These grapes grew over in Belgium,
said Nicholas.
I remember seeing grapes like them, but I never tasted any before.
They taste like food for the gods,
said Anne Carraway.
Let's open the big parcel with the orange ribbons before the grapes are quite gone.
Good,
cried Nicholas, as a big map of New York fell out. It was a different map from the one he had brought with him, for it was painted in watercolors, and the Bronx was filled with Kate Greenaway children, wheeling baby carriages, and children riding away to the country. All over Manhattan, from Morningside Park to the Battery, children were dancing and singing and playing in the streets and parks.
Just the way I've been seeing them,
said Nicholas.
Only on this map, they look as if they were all giving a jolly party for somebody.
They are. They're giving a sailing party for you, Nicholas,
said Anne Carraway.
Some of them have written letters about it, and they all say, don't let Nicholas stay over there. Bring Nicholas home with you. Tell Nicholas to come back as quick as he can. We send our love to the French children by Nicholas, but we want him to come back to New York.
They needn't worry,
said Nicholas.
I want to go back just as soon as I find out which picture books the French children like best. Here's another map with all big pictures,
he exclaimed, unfolding a wide sheet of shiny brown paper.
The library lions are standing right up on their hind legs, dancing across the middle of it. The storyteller is riding an elephant in Bermuda. The troll is down in Hudson Park, watching the children read by the light of the midnight sun. And Liberty is standing on tiptoe, waving bon voyage. What do you make of all that, Anne Carraway?
I think it's just like a fairy tale without any end,
said Anne Carraway, unfolding a charming little water sketch.
Look, Nicholas, here are the children in Hamilton Fish Park, with baskets of flowers and flags and picture books. And there's the penny ride man with his merry-go-round in Rivington Street.
Here's the funniest one of all,
chuckled Nicholas.
It's just boys reading in all kinds of positions, flat on their stomachs, standing up, sideways, every way you can think of.
And here's one of balloons going up from Washington Square in Central Park,
said Anne Carraway.
And another of Staten Island children that reaches all the way from Mariners Harbor to Tottenville. If I look at any more of these pictures, Nicholas, I'll be asking the captain to take me right back to New York. So let's stow them all away in the cabin and pack up the chocolates in the basket with the tinkling bells and save everything we're likely to need for parties in the French villages.
Good,
shouted Nicholas.
Then we'll have nothing to do all the way across the Atlantic, except look out for porpoises and clipper ships.
And sunsets,
added Anne Carraway.
All those clouds banking up in the west mean a glorious one tonight. There's a little new moon, Nicholas.
Come along, Anne Carraway. Let's go up on the top deck and watch for it. I've just seen the toreador go up with his little girl.
End of chapter 18. End of Nicholas, a Manhattan Christmas Story by Anne Carroll Moore.